It is tax season, everybody, and our goal is to help take away the stress by arming you with the information you need. We are teaming up with our friends at TurboTax to take a look at a number of important topics. Today, we are going to go through some of the new changes you need to know before you file. Jami Mote is a CPA and TurboTax spokesperson, and she is joining me now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I said to you off camera, like, I love talking taxes. I really do, and I know you do too. So we're going to jump right into this. We're going to go through some of the big changes to keep in mind this year. Let's start with the tax brackets and contribution amounts. What do people need to know?
Yeah, so the tax brackets have increased this year, which what that means is if you were in between two tax brackets and maybe you got pushed into a higher bracket last year, you might come down into a lower bracket this year and actually pay less tax, which is a nice thing.
Wouldn't
we love to hear, right?
Yes.
And then on top of that, the TFSA limit has increased for this year, so people can put more money into their TFSA, and RSP contribution limit also has gone up. So for some people, they might be able to put some more money aside into a tax-deferred savings account.
That's a good note to know, too. Next, let's look at the interest changes on unpaid balances.
So when you file your taxes late and you owe money, then you might actually have to pay interest. Well, you will have to pay interest on those unpaid balances, and the interest has gone up to 10% this year.
Oh dear, okay.
So we want to make sure we're filing on time, and also the interest on unpaid balances is not the same thing as the late filing penalty, which has doubled this year for people who are repeat offenders. So if you've filed late in the past few years, really make sure you get your taxes filed on time. Even if you can't pay them, you at least don't want to pay the penalty.
Yeah, and we're having this conversation now, so you have time right now, right? Okay, so the next one could come as a surprise to many people. What do we need to know about changes to the COVID work from home expense?
That very popular $500 flat rate deduction is no more. So this year, if you want to claim work from home expenses, it's going to be a more detailed process. You need to consider whether you qualify and the space of your home office and what your costs were for living in your home and what you can claim. So more detailed, and some people may qualify, some people might not.
Yeah, so find out about that. Certainly different from the last couple of years. Yeah. There are some changes to CPP payments too. What do people need to know?
Over the past few years, CPP premiums have been increasing, so a lot of Canadians might have already seen over the years the CPP being deducted on their paycheck going up. And this year, something special has happened. They've added a new a new earning ceiling and a new CPP rate. So now there's the old CPP rate, the old CPP amount, and then there's a new ceiling that's been added on top.
We're talking about, of course, the Canada Pension Plan.
Yes. Canada Pension Plan. And yeah, so if you're making over $66,600, you're going to see more CPP premiums being deducted off your paychecks this year.
And just know, like in the short term, it may hurt a little bit, but in the long term, that's the goal here, to give you some more money when you're retired.
I like to say it's not the same thing. I think it's a little less painful than taxes because it's coming back at some point.
It's coming back at some point. Okay, so what advice do you have for people to help prepare for this tax season?
It can be challenging to keep track of all of the changes every year and, of course, which ones are relevant to you. And that's where using an online tax solution like TurboTax can really help you out. And with TurboTax, they have TurboTax Live where you can work with a tax expert. Their experts have, on average, 10 years of experience backing them. So when you file with TurboTax, you know you can trust things are being done right.
And let's talk about the deadline. Deadline is?
April 30th.
Wait, one more time. Deadline is?
April 30th.
And let's keep in mind, everybody, it is a leap year, so you actually have one more extra day to prepare on February 29th. Right, Jami?
Yes, this is true.
This is true.
Yes.
All right, so there's the silver lining. Jami Mote, thanks for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Your morning is brought to you in part by TurboTax. Make your moves. We'll make them count.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.